So we're coming up to the halfway point of the season, so we'll have a catch up with club co-owner Terry Casey. Season so far, how would you assess it to date?
To be perfectly honest, it's been disappointing up until the last 6 games, where I felt we really did compete. And there's loads of contributing factors to those good performances. But up till then, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with the recruitment that went on in the summer. That was very disappointing. And I saw us get outplayed too many occasions. I mean, I did pilgrimage to Gateshead, which anybody who's been to Gateshead knows that it's quite a trek up there, and we were taken apart by a team that we shouldn't have been taken apart by, and that's disappointing after the euphoria of last season, where it was such a joy to support Maidstone last season, and that's quite a come down. So it's disappointing, but then we've got some sort of green shoots of recovery going on in the last 6 games, which are very encouraging for us. And I did say that we're better prepared for the National League this time, but I think I was wrong, because this is a different National League to the one that we left 3-4 years ago, whatever it was. This National League has got many more bigger, better funded clubs than the previous National League that we left. So we weren't as well prepared as we should have been, and going to a place like Notts County, 20,000 all-seater stadium, and in the boardroom where they've got 3 staff and you've got a choice of what you want, a sea bass or beef bourguignon. They're a very, very big club, hugely well funded. But I'm still determined to compete at this level. But it does bring into sharp focus how difficult it is when you go to a place like Notts County. Overall a mixture, but nevertheless a determination to do a lot better in the second half of the season.
Would you say it is that thing, because you look back on 2022 as a whole, it will go down as a really, really positive year for the club. I mean, that championship run. I mean, the excitement there was around the club last April and May. I mean, you would have to go back to the early days of this place opening for scenes such as that. Yeah,
they were wonderful, wonderful days, and 3,000 plus at home to Chelmsford, and then 4,000 plus at home on the last game of the season, and the wonderful conduct of the fans and the joy that everybody was enjoying. That's probably what's made it even more difficult now, because we had this huge shock of going into a league where winning a point is such an achievement, and 3 points is so difficult to do, that it's just a massive come down and a massive dose of reality that sort of smacked us in the face. And as I say, we didn't do well with our recruitment. We didn't. We all know it. We all know we made mistakes, and now we're just in the business of trying to rectify those mistakes right now.
Obviously, people who know your background will know you once played for the club, you supported the club for a long time, you've been its owner for nearly 12 years now. Do you still get that thing where you're thinking, oh, I've got my business head on, I've got my supporter head on? You obviously speak to a lot of supporters, some of whom you may have played with or known since those years. Is there still that, the Terry Casey supporter, Terry Casey owner?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's quite tricky, really, because I have got more involved this year as a result of the struggles early in the season, and but my involvement is a mixture, really. You have to run a good business here. I mean, I don't take any money out of the business, so but I want to keep everybody employed. I want to keep everybody having a job, but that's then tempered by the fact that I am a supporter. I couldn't say I'm a supporter first, because I can't be a supporter first, because I still have to run the business and you still have to make difficult decisions. And as I say, I've been more involved, and I've made decisions that some people have thought might have been a bit ruthless. But any decision I make is simply because I'm trying to make Maidstone United a viable business. And also, the other half is I want Maidstone to win more football matches. So yeah, it's a tricky balance, but I think you can run the two together. I think you can be a devoted supporter and run the business, but at some point, I suppose if your budget's spent. You have to stop being a supporter and start being a hard-nosed businessman. So it's not an easy balance to strike, but that's what I'm trying to do.
In terms of like the second half of the season, obviously, as you say, there's been some positives in those on those last 6 games. It's something that you'll be looking to build on as we head into that Christmas period and then on into the new year.
Yeah, very much so. I know that I think Sanford in goal has made a massive difference. I think Greenwich signing has made a massive difference. Bingham Williams coming back has made a huge difference. So they're the shoots of recovery that we've got to build on, and that's what gives me some confidence and optimism that we're gonna stay in this league, because I'm desperate to stay in the league, but I'm not desperate to go bust with overspending on players. So there we go back to that balance really. But I dream of the day that we can go to Notts County and feel that we can compete with them on the pitch. We can't compete with them off the pitch. We're not going to build a 20,000 all-seater stadium here. It's not going to happen. But I'm really looking forward to the day that they come down here and maybe we can compete with them and give them a good game.
And obviously, we've been back here 10 years now. For you, there's still that drive and that determination to take this club as far as you possibly can?
Yeah, I think this is probably our natural position in the National League, but as I say, we weren't as well prepared as I remember boasting about the fact, we'll be better prepared. I didn't realise how much better the National League had got. But I think one of the supporters was saying on Saturday, the Maidenhead thing, where they regularly mid-table, regularly win good games and they lose a few games, but they're a viable, solvent club in mid-table, similar size, not quite as big as us. So there is a place for us in the National League. And then you look at Harrogate and Sutton, who've gone into the EFL, into League Two. So yeah, this is our launching pad to bigger and better things. But it's a battle. It really is a real struggle, and we're sort of feeling it at the moment.
So I'll just quickly touch on that. Say that is 10 years back here. Do you look back on that decade overall with a sense of fondness? Obviously, been quite a defining decade in the club's history.
Oh God, yeah. I think I've said before, there's not one thing I would change about the last 10 or 12 years. I think it's been, for me personally, for my family, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I feel a great sense of pride, and I still get into conversations with supporters who remember London Road and are really pleased to be back here, and their support it means a lot to me. I mean, I've got to say, it emerged some of the supporters aren't quite as well behaved as I would like them to be, and I do have a bit of an issue with that, especially after we've just been fined by the FA for obscene chanting. I can't change that, but that is the one thing that has disappointed me as I look over a bunch of young people who come on a Tuesday night because they've got nowhere else to go, and then we have to get extra security in because they've turned up, they've got nowhere else to go, and then we have to pay FA fines because they behave so disgracefully. So I suppose that's the one, in the whole time I've been here, the one thing that I've been disappointed with. That's the only thing, but everything else has been a wonderful experience.
I suppose finally, when this place was being developed back in 2010, 2011, the decision was made to go with the artificial pitch because of all the benefits it would bring. You look across the county now, so many clubs have followed that blueprint. So again, do you take a sense of pride there that you're perhaps a front runner in what a 3G pitch could bring to a club? Yeah,
we were trailblazers years ago when we engineered the sort of promotion into the EFL, and now we've been trailblazers now because we set the scene for the 3G pitch, and 10 years ago we were told time and time again by people, it'll never take off, it'll never work, and like the Barrow chairman said, I don't like 3G, and you said, well, why don't you like 3G? He said, well, I just don't like it. And then you think, well, that's not much of an argument, but I mean, that was his argument, he just don't like it. And then I look at films of when I used to play in the 70s and and the mud baths we used to play on. No, the 3G was a wonderful idea. It's just disappointing again that the EFL won't take it on board. That's disappointing because I'm looking at Harrogate now. We've ripped their pitch up and now they're back in the relegation zone of League Two, which so we may have Harrogate and Gillingham to play against next year, which could be an interesting experience. But the 3G thing, we've got to be proud of what we set the scene on that one. We're really proud of that. And of course, it's a big income for us, you know, the hiring, and it just embraces the community. We've got hundreds and hundreds of kids coming down here, hundreds of people coming down here all the time because they can play on the 3G surface. So, yeah, very proud of that achievement.
Terry, thanks so much for your time as always, and we'll catch up with you again very soon.
You're more than welcome. Cheers.